Hey everybody, I think we're live. I always like to wait just a minute and see if we really are live yet. But it says here we're live. So are we live now? I like to take a minute and make sure everything works out. So can anybody hear me and see me? Scott's in the house. Yes, we're live. All right, awesome. Good to know. Glad to hear it. I'm here tonight. You know me. I'm Rick. BamAquatics here. We do this Thursday tank talk, as I've called it, each week. Lately, I've been having some guests, and today's no different. We're going to have Rack here from River Life. I'm excited to have him. He's become an integral part of the fish family, in my opinion, and I know a lot of you guys' opinion as well. So I want to introduce Rack. Good to have you here, Rack.
Rick, thanks for having me. Great to be here. Thanks for the kind words.
Yes, sir. So anyway, we usually kind of start out and just kind of get to know a little bit about what's going on in your fish room. I know I know a little bit about it, but I don't know as much as I'd like to know. And I know some of these guys here probably don't know a whole lot about everything you do. I know we all try to check out each other's videos and things like that, but sometimes it's hard to catch all of them. So take a minute and welcome everybody to the chat, or at least welcome the ones that I can see here. I know Diego with Pet Exotics was here earlier. I don't know if he still is, and Bob Kaler also. Peter, Mob Guppy's here. Susie's here. Daryl's here. Heirloom Aquatics. Who else? Big City Bettas. Raccoon Creek Aquatics is here. Good to have you with us. Nature Nerd is here. Crystal Shack Aquatics is here. I guess that's about everybody I've seen so far. So we've got about 10 or 11 people here, looks like. So not a bad crowd to start out with. And Scott, did I say Scott with Fancy Tail Aquatics? Not sure, but he's here as well. So welcome everybody. Glad to have you, and glad to have Rack. So Rack, to start out with, let's just talk a little bit about sort of how long have you sort of been in the fish keeping hobby, and sort of what got you started. Do you go way back, or are you newer, and some things like that?
Yeah, I go way back. My earliest childhood memory of pet keeping was my mom tending a guppy bowl. And, you know, I hear that over and over from fish keepers. They've got guppies in the house when they were a kid. And I never seemed to outgrow it. I've kept fish ever since that I can remember, with a couple of absences. You know, the Army wouldn't let me bring an aquarium, and there were a couple of college dorms that wouldn't let me have one. But I've never been too far away from fish. My first part-time job as a kid was in a fish store. So it was my gateway into appreciating all things nature. And now I'm a total nature nut. My retirement business card reads naturalist. So I think fish and the fish keeping hobby are a wonderful way to invite people to appreciate nature. And in my case at least, and I think most others would agree, it's a quality of life enhancement when you can appreciate the nature that's around you.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. I find myself at times just coming in and looking at some of the tanks, you know, that I've got behind me. But I'm also an amateur photographer. I haven't really talked too much about that, but I enjoy going out in nature too, and nature and wildlife photography is what I like to do. So yeah, I like to go out and appreciate nature too. It's really relaxing to me, and I'm sure it is to you too.
I love it, and I love taking my kids and grandkids now out there and telling them about things and turning over rocks and finding salamanders and crayfish. Just I'm still a kid at heart, and part of that is the fish keeping hobby. And I'm recovering from my most recent bout with multiple tank syndrome. When I started making YouTube videos, I guess it's been a year and a half, 2 years now. I quickly escalated to 27, 29 tanks. And I had fun with all of them, don't get me wrong, but I'm downsizing now. I'm down to about 9 aquariums and 1 300-gallon stock tank outside with the koi. So I had lots of little breeding projects. You know, I'm partial to live bearers. And so I did lots of breeding projects, indoors and outdoors. I did outdoor tubs with the Goodeids and the wild swords and endlers. So the wild type live bearers occupied most of the space in the fish room, and I'm still downsizing. I think I like the idea right now, and I'm reserving the opportunity here to change my mind at any time. But right now, I'm favoring reducing the number of tanks, and then having larger tanks, fewer but larger tanks, maybe increasing the total gallonage.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to go. I know myself is I have a lot of tanks, but I don't have any really large tanks at all. I mean, my largest tank is a 20-gallon tank, so most of my tanks are 10s, which I guess like you, probably when you had so many tanks, you were trying to do so many different things that you have to have a tank for each species, each variety and all that. And so that's kind of what I've got into too.
Well, I ping pong back and forth. I go from that smaller project tank and lots of ongoing project to display, and larger fish that display well. So, like I said, I might if you ask me tomorrow, I may have already changed my mind, but that's the direction I'm headed in right now.
Well, I understand. You're always you have the prerogative to change your mind because I know if you're like me, I know when I see other people's videos or when I go to the local fish store or whatever, and I see another fish maybe that I don't have or a different variety or something, I'm always, man, I think I might like to get one of those, And so it's kind of hard to reel yourself in like that. You have a lot of self-control to be moving down instead of moving out. So that's a good thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, I appreciate you saying that, but really it's just I found, YouTube, it's difficult to watch the fish tube and not have an appetite for a new fish. And so the purpose of downsizing is not to have less fish, but like I said, increase the size of the tank so I can have more fish.
Well, that's right. Just more fish and maybe not so many breeding projects.
There you go. But then in a minute, I'm going to want to do some more breeding, so who knows?
Yeah, but you probably still have some of those tanks tucked away somewhere, I bet.
Yeah, I probably do.
Yeah, we had another topic that I was going to get to pretty quickly, but somebody had asked a question. Let me just mention, guys, if you have a question for Rack or for me, we're keeping an eye on the chat. So if you'd put at BamAquatics or at River Life, that way we'll be able to see it and we can respond to it a little bit easier. I'll try to see them anyway, but I'll miss some probably, even if you do put at BamAquatics. But that helps anyway to keep it to where maybe I can see what's going on there a little bit better. But somebody had a question about our matching bandanas here and about what that was all about. So why don't you, I'll just mention that I know Rack was the, I believe you were the founding, you were the one that sort of came up with this idea, so to speak. And so anyway, I'll let you sort of explain. I would really love to hear like where you got the idea, sort of how it came to your mind, how you kind of molded around and sort of just tell us how this all got started. The Team Green Alliance is what it is, and Rack is the starter of it and the founder. So I'm going to let him talk about it.
Well, I'd love to talk about it, Rick. Thank you very much. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. The Team Green Alliance, TGA, is a Facebook group. And that started, we talked before we went live about me being on YouTube for, almost 2 years and not growing as fast as I thought I should. I don't know why I had these misconceptions, but I thought I'd have over 1,000 subscribers in a year, and it just didn't work out that way. And now I find out, the subscribers isn't the important number anyway. I mean, it's an indication that you're making effort and progress. But along the way, I talked to some of the larger channels. I say there's no small creators, but some channels have more subscribers and more time in the field and more knowledge, more experience. And I was talking to some of these guys, and it boiled down to a few things if you wanted to have a successful YouTube channel, and that was building relationships, which the Fish Fam is fantastic at. I don't know if people in here have involved themselves in other groups or not, but when you compare the Fish Fam to other groups I've been involved in, the camaraderie that we have and the willingness to help is overwhelming. So I wanted to know, how can we use this willingness to help others? And what I found out was the larger channels, they're not unwilling to help. They're some of the nicest people I've encountered, but they're at the paradigm's different. If you've got 100,000 subscriber size channel versus 100 subscriber size channel, things are different. you probably have a staff, or you're obtaining an editor, or you're outsourcing some work. If you have 100,000 subscribers, if you have 100, you're probably doing everything on your own. So I figured out pretty quickly that I wasn't going to have a staff, and that the quality of work is what attracted outsiders. Being friendly and real and available to people, that built personal relationships. So I wanted to know, how can we take the information from the larger channels that are geared towards success, our personal relationships, and this willingness of the fish fam and kind of a like-sized channel community, how can we put all that together and have an outcome that benefits everybody? So the only criteria to be a part of the Team Green Alliance is that you want your YouTube channel to grow. And then if you don't have a YouTube channel, or you don't want your YouTube channel to grow, you're welcome to come and watch others grow their YouTube channel. So what we've decided is we're going to be a safe space. You can come as you are, where you are, partake, enjoy, participate, observe anything you want to do. It's going to be safe. We're not going to do any negativity. We're not going to be a place where drama is welcome, or certainly unkindness. But for those that are serious about growing a YouTube channel, we're going to resource information that will help you grow. Now, this started out when I talked to a few at the Aquatic Experience, Rick, that got the first green bandanas like the one I sent you. It was Rob from Racing's Natural Aquariums, Liz, who is your moderator here, One Fish, Two Fish ROC, Q Aquatics, Susie Q, and it was just a few of us, New York Gold, Don, and it was like, hey, we have less than 1,000 subscribers. We're serious about it. We're showing up at these fish conventions in New Jersey, for crying out loud. Let's just decide that we're going to help each other on purpose. And everyone was on board immediately. Rob from Racing's Natural Aquariums just took the ball and ran with it and said, I'm going to throw up a Facebook group. And I said, great. He recruited Susan from SLC, our Fish Fam mom, as an administrator. One Fish, Two Fish ROC is an administrator also. Are you an administrator, Rick, or moderator?
I may be. I think I'm a moderator.
I think you are. Well, and it's just people like you who are serious about your YouTube channel. You're reaching out to the fish fam. You're helping people. You're inviting people on your live stream. And so we're a safe place where we can bring all of our ideas, put them up on a buffet, and everyone can consider what they've seen and heard. And what we ask is, if there's something on the buffet that you don't like, don't spit on it. That might be what the next guy wants. Just pass it along. But if you do want it, take it. So as far as resources go, what I started to say is we've got a number of large channels in the TGA. Last week, Corey of Aquarium Co-op joined. Okay, so I mean, Joey Mullen hasn't joined to my knowledge yet, 1 million plus subscribers, but Corey, over 250,000 subscribers, is in there because, and I spoke to him at length at the Aquatic Experience, he seriously wants to help small YouTube channels grow. So we don't use words usually like right and wrong. You know, we choose options like what would be better or best, or how do we improve from where we are. And it's working out. I mean, the TGA, the Facebook group, has a mind of its own. You know, it's like it's a dysfunctional like a committee because it's kind of loose. As long as you're nice, come on in there and let's see what do you have to offer for our stone soup. But it's working out, and we've got people reaching goals. We've got channels crossing that 1,000 subscriber mark. We've got people getting more views on videos than they used to. They're getting tips on how to make a better video. I mean, I could go on all night, but I think that's the basics and then some about the Facebook group, which is the TGA. And certainly everyone here is welcome to come on over. Love to have you.
Right. Yeah, it is. And that's kind of exactly what I imagined that you had gone through your head, but I didn't know for sure. So if you're like me, I know it's dangerous for anybody to try to guess what's going on inside your head. I know that's the case for me anyway. So yeah. But yeah, that's what I thought probably. And it's been a great experience for me because I've gotten to meet so many more people that I hadn't met before. And Airline Aquatics here just congratulated me on my 400 when I started on Team Green Alliance, you know, everyone was encouraged to put what their goal was there.
Yes.
And so I participated in that as well. And my goal was to get to 400 before the end of the year. And it looks like tonight during this stream, I just did that. So I just want to thank.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I want to thank Team Green Alliance and thank you and everybody else that's joined in here on this journey. When I first started and put my first video out, I thought one of the things I said is, well, why would somebody else come and put up another fish channel, YouTube channel? You know,
right.
Why would somebody do that? And I said, you know, I really don't know. I said, I just enjoy what I'm doing, and I just want to share it with everybody else. And maybe somebody can learn something not to do, even if they don't learn what to do. Maybe they can learn what not to do, you know, by watching me. And if that's the case, then hey, that's good too. So,
well, I firmly believe that everybody has something. And when we make a safe space for everybody to bring something, we all grow. And like you and I spoke before, when you take benefits and turn them into mutual benefits, it's an exponential increase. So it's worth more than just the sum of the parts.
That's exactly right. I've learned so much by watching others' videos, you know, and getting involved with other people, making friends, you know, that I never would have met had it not been for this community that we have. And like you have mentioned, the Fish Fam community is amazing, because I've noticed that if you go online and if you go to like some other Facebook groups that are fish groups, so to speak,
right.
You go there and maybe you're talking about something, or maybe somebody else is talking about something, and maybe they're new to the hobby and they don't know exactly the way they're supposed to do things. And I've seen some terrible things be said and people treated in terrible ways in some of those groups. And I love the way that Team Green Alliance, for one, and the Fish Fam, even here in general, has been with this YouTube Fish Fam and Fish Tube, so to speak, because I don't really see that. And I don't think I'm living in a fishbowl where I don't see much. I think that I don't think it happens.
Well, I've seen it from time to time, but it's not embraced. It's shown the door. Like there's a better way to do things. And if you're serious about your gripe or your complaint, there's a better way to handle it so that everyone can grow, instead of someone just giving themselves license to issue injury to someone else. That's not very beneficial.
No, it really doesn't help anybody, because it doesn't help you. You know, it doesn't really do anything. But you know, it's just doesn't help the person that's asking. That's yeah, obviously, if they put something out there, they want to know about what they can do better. So it's really just not helping anybody. So
this is when I have the opportunity to have the one-on-ones like we're having here, Rick. This is what I like to say: the best time to offer somebody a critique is when they ask for it. And if maybe they're not in a good spot to have a critique, just because you recognize something you could critique, if that makes sense. So I tend to lean toward encouragement always. Just encourage. Find something positive to say about the effort and accentuate the positive. And then if the individual asks, hey, you know, is there anything that you do differently? Is there anything I could have, you know, looked at differently myself? And this is how I feel. And sometimes I'll ask, you know, hey, is there something, another direction I could have gone here? Or could I have handled this technically in a different way? I mean, I asked you 15 questions before we went live about how to operate this computer. And you were so gracious to help me. Oh, well, you just click here and you click there. And I appreciate it very much. But if you would have come at me from a different way, oh, man, right, don't you know anything? I would have felt bad about myself. even though your information would have been accurate, you know, but I just may not have received it in the most healthy way. So that I like to encourage people, you know, to be kind. Don't offer critique unless you're asked for it, and then give it constructively. So you want to build somebody else up. And I guess if I had a tip to give tonight, it would be what I learned at the Aquatic Experience concerning a YouTube channel is it's very beneficial if someone will watch the video completely, leave a like, a thumbs up, and a comment. Now, what I learned is on my videos, and I'm just getting started on the analytics. I'm going to talk over my head here. I apologize in advance. But I was looking at the viewer retention. And on my videos, there is a very steep slope in the first 15 seconds. and it drops from 100% to whatever, however far it falls. And that usually is the result of well-meaning people, friends, dropping into the video, hitting the like button, and getting out. Like, hey man, I came in, checked it out, it's great, here's a thumbs up. And that's nice, but in the long run, it's not really beneficial because it really negatively impacts your viewer retention. So a well-meaning person, here's a thumbs up, is really detracting from the ability of the video to perform very well. So my tip is, and I've taken my own advice, I've changed my ways since Aquatic Experience. If I'm going to click into a video, I'm going to commit to watching it to the end. So at least one view is 100%. And wherever the viewer retention percentage is, it's going to increase after I watch it completely. And then I'll try to engage with a thumbs up and a comment. Now, what that means is I can't watch as many videos. I can't drop in on as many, but the quality impact is higher if I watch the whole thing, leave a thumbs up and a comment. So for what it's worth, that was one of the takeaways I had from the Aquatic Experience. And we can help each other sharing that information, because I know it's my friends, it's people I love that are just stopping in for a minute to give a thumbs up, not realizing that it may have a negative impact.
Right, and yeah, that's exactly right, and that's something that that as of late I have learned, because I think that information is getting out because people like you and others. I know that Aquafunk had been talking on one of his streams about how he was going to like get a phone and he was going to just set it so it would just watch someone's playlist all the way through, you know, or something like that, and so I think those are ways we can help each other. Is by doing the things like that. And even myself in the past have been very guilty of going in and clicking on it and watching a portion of it and leaving my thumbs up and even making a comment too, but not always going all the way through and watching to the end. So that's something that I have had to change in my viewing patterns too, because that's something, you know, that's something that if you're going to click into it, then be committed that you're going to watch it. I think that's great advice, because and not everybody knows that, just like I didn't know that in the past, and you didn't know it until the Aquatic Experience. And so
and you, Rick, we've got a forum and a platform to share that information. So thank you very much.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it. But we've had several other people come in the chat here, just like to always jump back and make sure we kind of try to acknowledge everybody. There's a lot of great people that come into the chat here. And Otter Creek has made it in here. He's at work. I saw him say.
Otter Creek, he's on the internet at work again.
Yep, he does that quite regular, but happy he's here though. Glad he did that. Dr. Sashami's here. He drops in from time to time. We appreciate you being here. Not sure if I say your name right, but I hope I'm somewhere close anyway. Learning to Fish Keep, Cameron's here. Who else dropped in here? If I forget you, just shout something out here on the chat and I might see it. Let's see, Rob. If Rob dropped in too. Thanks, Rob, for joining us. Good to have you here. And yeah, I had, there was something that Liz had said a little bit earlier, said, BamAquatics, quite often I come across a hidden gem channel with only a few views. Yeah. I posted on the Facebook group, and sure enough, that person starts getting views out of nowhere. It's fun. And I was going to mention that one particular person is Cassie's Critters that I would never, ever have met. And she puts out some great videos and has a great personality. I like watching her videos. I would never have met Cassie had it not been for Leah sharing that and letting us know about her.
Yeah, she shared her world with us, and that was great. And Cassie, this is fun. I recently, I did the Amazon affiliate thing. So you put a link to Amazon, and if someone clicks into Amazon and buys something, you get a small commission. Well, Cassie was the first person to click into Amazon and buy something from one of my affiliate links, so I appreciated her.
How about that? So that love came back around. We kind of got to know Cassie and all, and now she's sort of coming back around, and it was your first commission there anyway.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I think I made $1.44 off the 2 items that she bought, and it didn't cost her anything extra.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's true. That's something I've considered doing, you know, at times, but I haven't done that yet.
Well, it's way I talked to Corey at Aquarium Experience again at length, and one of the things he said is just don't even depend on YouTube to ever generate any income for you directly, but monetize outside. Use your channel as a platform. Sell a t-shirt or a hat with your channel name on it. Get this Amazon affiliate link going. But there are 4 or 5 ways that definitely you can monetize your YouTube channel if that's what you're into. That will also help your channel grow. Basically, at that point, if you get people buying your t-shirt, they're paying you to promote you.
Right. That's true.
Now he has different goals than I do, but he makes a lot of sense. I know a lot of people are looking to buy their first camera for their YouTube channel, you know, and a few t-shirt sales or an Amazon link could really help them get their first camera.
Right. That's right. Dr. Sashimi, if I'm saying it right, but said it's okay. Ever how we pronounce the name will be fine. So thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I really have a good time. I know I saw where Scott had said something. He said, oh, and he said, yeah, he watches some videos, even though sometimes he just walks away because maybe it's not his kind of fish. Maybe it's Tetris, and that's not his thing. I know Rob loves him some Tetris, but maybe that's not his thing. So just watches the video, and he may not even watch the whole thing, but he plays the whole thing through anyway, and still gives the support that way. So that's awesome.
I know I've been watching some playlists and dozed off, and the playlist continues to play. As far as I know, the creator gets credit for the views. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I guess at certain times, if it's not like a person, like if my channel, I don't know that I have a playlist created, but if you click on a link on mine, then it goes on to a suggested video or something like that, maybe, and sometimes it's somebody completely different. So I guess they do get credit for the views. So, and Liz put up Cassie's channel right there. She has some really good stuff, so y'all go check her out. And I know several times they've put Rack's channel up here, River Life. So
thank you very much.
Put that up again for us so everybody can click on that. Probably most of you guys know Rack, but some of you may not. So every time there's usually 1 or 2 maybe that are new to someone that's here anyway. So that's good. Tell us a little bit.
Cassie is her fish enabler.
Yes, that's right. I thought that was funny. My fish enabler, Cassie. Yeah, and they have a special relationship there, I guess. So tell us a little bit more, if you don't mind, right? Because you are into a little bit, you're further along than I am, and you're further along than I know several of the people that I see in the chat here. Not everybody, but so tell us a little bit about monetization and about how that works. So at least what you know of it.
Yeah. Well, what I know is I started my YouTube channel with high hopes of becoming monetized, and I needed 10,000 views in order to apply for monetization. And I went to Aquatic Experience, and I met a lot of people, had a great time, got lots of good feedback and information, came back home, made a few videos with the interviews of the larger channels, and I had 9,600 plus views. And they changed the monetization limit to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours within a year of watch time, and really shifted my paradigm. I didn't make videos for several weeks. Then it occurred to me, if I do this for money, you know, that may not be a good enough motivation. I'm retired, and I'm in a good position to spend some time the way I enjoy spending it. If it's trying to make money from YouTube, that may not be too enjoyable or sustainable. So I did want to be successful, though. I didn't want to try something and fail at it. So I kept trying. I kept talking to people, and then it occurred to me. I watched video after video from these YouTube gurus. You know, they're all over YouTube. You can find a video to watch about how to do anything. And all of them were recommending, look, if it's monetization, and monetize now, if that's what you want. Do something besides waiting for YouTube to send you a check. So that was kind of a relief that I didn't have to wait for YouTube to monetize me. And I kind of abandoned. I will probably start live streaming once I figure out the technology to get the hours and then apply for monetization just as a milestone, you know, a marker of success. And for anyone else that wants to monetize, I would say do it now on Teespring. I don't think there's an upload charge for that. They keep the inventory. If you sell something, you get a commission. Check on the Amazon affiliate link. That doesn't cost anything. You just post a link on your videos, and if someone clicks in to buy something, you'll get a check. And I don't think that's the main drive for me. I think being successful is knowing that I'm trying. And what I found is that a definition of success is helping others achieve what they want. And that's where the Team Green Alliance came in, just kind of formalized. So I was definitely doing that one-on-one. And now we have a group where we can all get some of that good feeling of helping one another. So as far as monetization goes, don't look to YouTube immediately. But if you're a small channel, you don't have to wait on that anyway. And then set your own goals. What makes you happy? Decide what that is and then pursue it. And then figure out how this group, this people that are willing to help, how they can contribute, because most of us want to. We're a question away from helping.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. So I agree 100% that if you don't do it for fun, if I'm not doing this because I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy meeting people and talking to people and getting to know other people, then I mean, you know, what's the deal in doing it? Because you won't continue, at least for me, I won't continue to do it because the goals, especially now they've changed, you know, the goal to get to monetization with YouTube is sort of high. So it's like, if that's your goal, then, and you're not having fun doing it, then probably I'm not going to keep doing it. So I think, you know, it's not, unless I had to have that to survive. And that's definitely not the case. I would definitely spend more money on my hobby than I'm probably ever going to make at it. But it's just fun to do that.
That's all. Well, I'll tell you this, the larger channels appreciate the smaller channels. Okay. Again, no small creators, but the people who are making a full-time income on YouTube, the more fish tubers there are out there, the bigger their channel grows. They're vested in our success. So it's just a matter of mining the information that they have and then diluting it to suit our situation, whatever size we are.
Right. And I've noticed the people that I've come in contact with, you know, that have a whole lot more subscribers than me. You like Joseph with BamAquatics, you know, he was so gracious. He's, you know, he has a good, I don't know how many subscribers he has, but he has quite a few. And I asked him to come on. He said, sure, you know, and I met him through Team Green Alliance. So, I mean, it's all, and I found that everyone that I've approached to come on to do this has been so kind to do it. So it's, you know, it's all everybody being together and being a community and a family, like we talk about the fish family. You know, and I think that's really what it is. I mean, it's really been amazing to me.
I think if your motivation is right, you don't want to do anybody wrong. You just want to help other people. That's what your motivation is. Even if you mess up or you don't do it right, if your motivation is there, you're going to get lots of help and support along the way. I know Tech he's in Knoxville. He's a big fish channel. He's probably 30 or to 50,000 subscribers and just does crazy editing. This guy's got skills. I met him for the second time this year at Aquatic Experience, and he said, you got to come down. And so my wife and I went and visited Tech, and while we were there, he gave me a set of studio lighting. He gave me an aquarium, things that he'd just kind of outgrown. And he said, no, listen, you're a nice guy, and I just want to help you be successful. And I said, you know, that's exactly what I want to be, that guy for other people. If you're a nice person with the right motivation, let's get together and help each other.
Yeah, I agree. Now, is Tech, is that in Knoxville? Is that where do they have a store?
Knoxville, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have actually had some communication with him. We talked about it a little bit before, but yeah, I actually have, we talked about the possibility of having some kind of get together at some point in time up around that area. So we've had some contact there. So yeah.
Now on the Team Green Alliance, Tech is a member, and he's offered for people to send an introduction to his videos. I've done one. You can go to Tech YouTube channel, watch some of those videos. And I think Otter Creek's here. I think he did one. Just, hey, I'm Rack from the River Life channel, and you're watching Tech. And then he uploads it on the front end of one of his videos. And now all of a sudden, regardless of the size of your channel, you're doing introductions for people, you know, who get, listen, I think Tech's most viewed video got like over 600,000 views. So if you do the introduction for a video like that, you're getting a lot of exposure.
That's true, and I think that people that are trying to grow their channel, that's the thing, is sort of being willing to go out and do things like that and just be a part of the community, and that's how you get that exposure. So.
And you mentioned also to me, Rick, that Rob of Racing's Natural Aquariums is also doing a channel spotlight. So if you'll do a little spotlight on your channel and your fish room, your hobby, he'll post a video about it. So that's like duplication that equals multiplication, because you've got your base and his base, and when they come together, then it's put out there into the YouTube world with more inertia. I think that's the word that attracts the algorithm, is inertia. So it's a win-win. Rob gets more views, you get more exposure.
Oh, there's Joseph now. He snuck in here. He may have been lurking in the background. I've heard some
people talking about it, Rick, and he popped in. Hey, Joseph.
Speak him into existence almost.
He's jealous of you, Rick, because he's been telling me he wants to do a hangout with me for 2 years and hasn't gotten around to it, and you beat him to the punch.
Oh, he mentioned that last week. Yeah, he did. So he's probably, I forget, someone made a comment on one of my videos. Was it a peanut butter and jelly sandwich they were going to have to go eat, maybe? I think it was Pam with 54 Punchy, maybe. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So maybe he's eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich right now. But it's good to have you here, Joseph. And I saw Cassie popped in too. We were talking good things about you, Cassie. Just talking about how that we had met you because of Liz sharing your channel, and we were speaking about Team Green Lights and all of that. So it was all good stuff. Don't worry, nothing bad. So,
Rick, Big City Bettas is in the chat. And I got a message that asked, was I going live today? And I didn't respond to Big City Bettas because I hoped to. I was committed to, but I didn't know if I would figure out this technology or not. So I'm glad I made it.
Well, I am too. And she actually, I think she may have been my 400th subscriber, because I saw a little notification come up that said she had subscribed. And then shortly after that, somebody said I had 400 subscribers. So she may have been number 400. I don't know that for sure. But anyway, that's awesome. Yeah, it's always great to have everybody join us. And Rob also, Liz had mentioned Rob93. He does a, he was here. I don't know if he still is or not, but we're going to go ahead and shout him out anyway, because a lot of times on Wednesdays, like, he makes it a part of what he's doing on Wednesdays is to help other people get to whatever it is. If somebody's near like a number like 100 or whatever it may be, then he makes it his business to try to make sure that they get to that goal during his stream. So that really has he helped me a lot when I was trying to get up there a little bit, and so I know he's helped a lot of people. So
I've been in his live stream when he's done that. And the live stream that I recall, he helped 8 people reach milestones in that one chat. So I love that. That's community helping community. That's a hand up, not a handout. And I commend Rob93 for doing that. And I recommend you go back, Rick, and get some more milestones over there.
Well, I will. I hang out. I try to stop in. Sometimes I'm at work, but I try to at least sneak on there a little bit, like Kendall's doing tonight, and give him a little bit of love, give him the like, give him a little bit of view time when I can. So
Kendall asked a question here that we've already kind of brushed against, but I'm sure he's working and sneaking in when he can. Kendall, the larger channels are very happy that the fish tube is growing. They have a vested interest. As the fish tubers grow, so do the bigger channels. We add inertia, which is what the artificial intelligence or the algorithm picks up on, and then sends more video suggestions about fish keeping to the YouTube world. So they're definitely not unappreciative of us, and that's why we have so many offering to help.
Yeah, that's true. I know sometimes because they have such a broad audience. And they have so many subscribers, it may seem like to some people, because they don't have the time necessarily to respond to 5,000 people or whatever it may be. And so sometimes it may seem like they don't care, but like you say, when we grow, when the fish family in general grows, it helps them because it bumps up people watching that particular type of content. And so I know that helps their channels too. So even if it was completely selfish, they still would be happy to have us as a part of the YouTube. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. BamAquatics is over there. Hey, Susie Q, how are you? She's probably wearing her green bandana tonight.
There she is. Yeah, she had it last week. So I don't think I had mine yet last week, but got it this week. Got this great. I was going to show this No Small Creators. And right. I appreciate you. That's great. That's one thing about Rack, and I want to brag on him just a little bit. I mean, he'll probably be embarrassed, but he is such a great motivator and encourager. I think that if somebody has a gift, sort of, if that's his thing. He's a great encourager and motivator. Any of you know him know that's true. So
thank you, Rick.
So yeah, got some folks here that said they need him a green bandana. So we'll have to let Rack work on that. But
I'll tell you, you're gonna have to help yourselves. I'm out. That thing went like hotcakes, and I only had a few. As a matter of fact, if you untie that thing, Rick, and unfold it, you'll see it's only half of one.
Oh, is it? I didn't even unfold it. So
I took a few and cut them in half and then folded them up. So I'm all out. But I don't have copyright on them. If you want a green bandana, have at it.
That's funny. I never would have known it was half a bandana had you not told me.
BamAquatics said, yes, she's wearing hers. I knew it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'll tell you something funny. At Aquatic Experience, I saw a guy that was wearing one as a headband. And I didn't give it to him. A random guy wearing a green bandana. I had to hey, he's not one of us. He might be a great guy, but we need to talk to him before we assume he's on board with the Small Channel Alliance.
That's right. He may wonder what in the world you're talking about, right?
Get away from me, crazy people.
I know. Big City Betta's, she thought they thought they had subscribed before. So anyway, I called her out. Anyway, because they thought to subscribe before. So anyway, but and let's see, there was something else. Oh, Diego Petsotic said Rob helped him reach 100, and he still appreciates it to this day. He's at 129 now, so that's awesome.
Bob Kaler's asking a question there, Rick, about the perception among smaller channels that big channels should sub to them if they sub to the big channel. At the end of the day, this is my comment on that. At the end of the day, you should subscribe to a channel who produces content that you enjoy watching. Anything outside of your desire to consume good content is a strategy. And depending on what angle you're taking, then that describes your strategy. But if you'll pick a channel that does content that you like to watch and you watch it from the beginning to the end, and you can give it a thumbs up because you like it, that's when everybody wins. So to speak on strategy, I'll just leave that to the individual.
Right. And I think some people, I know YouTube definitely frowns, and there are some people that even don't like people to put the word sub or whatever in their chat stream and things like that, because I knew YouTube definitely frowns on the sub for sub kind of thing is what I've heard. Whether that's completely true or not, I don't really know. But
it violates the community guidelines.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I don't think anybody should expect that if you subscribe to someone that they are going to have to subscribe back to you, because you may enjoy their content, but maybe they're not into. Let's say I've got a lot of guppies and livebearers. Maybe they don't really like that. You know, maybe I like what they're doing, but they don't necessarily like what I'm doing. And so that's okay, because everybody has their own taste and their own little niche or whatever that they do. And to be honest, I don't subscribe to some channels that have things that I'm not completely interested in, because I want to be able to watch and support the people that I subscribe to. So,
and the big channels also know is that if they subscribe to you and they don't consume your content, they're eventually YouTube is going to find out, hey, here's a subscriber that hasn't been active with your channel for 30, 60, 90 days, a year. And that's when these purges occur. And then all of a sudden, when you're operating a certain level of equity and you decrease unknowingly, it's because, well, you've recruited subs, basically sub for sub. They're never coming back. They won't unsubscribe. They're not even going to give you the time of day. but they're not increasing your viewer retentionship or the percentage of, I mean, it's amazing to know that if all of your views equal 100% of your views, I've heard larger channels say that only 27% of their total views are from their subscribers. So they're big subscribers, and it's like now we're on a bubble. Is that bubble ever going to bust? Nobody knows. So if we'll consume content that we like and reward the content we like with thumbs up, comments, and watching the complete video, it may slow the growth curve down a little bit, but it'll be a lot, it'll be more solid. I mean, even for me, I can tell you that I have a small number of views per video produced. Right now, I would say 130 is like, I'm going to get 130 views. If a video gets 400 views, doesn't happen in that first week. It happens over a year. But somebody like King and Queen Cichlids, how many subscribers does he have now? It wasn't long ago he had 1,000, maybe 1,500. He's getting over 1,000 views a video. And that's just him building his channel on people who want to consume his videos. So I think I made a mistake in being too broad, nature appreciation. And I found in doing that, that it's the fish keeper that's on YouTube. So now I went to more of a niche. My videos are more fish keeping related.
Right. And I've noticed too that you put out a lot of almost tutorial type videos or videos, you know, lately that have kind of given some product reviews and things like that, which that's really I like those kind of videos because it kind of shows you what other people use and all.
Yeah, and that's what brings me into YouTube, the how-to. Yeah.
Right.
And I think Joel Corvus Oskin told me, he said, if you can answer that question in a video, how to, you'll get more views than if you don't answer that question.
Right.
Simple logic.
Joseph had said if a channel stops making good content or starts making different content that I don't want to see, then I unsub that channel. And you're probably doing them a favor by unsubbing now, because otherwise, like Rax said, they're going to unsub you later if you stop watching it anyway. So anyway, let's see here. Can you explain about using hashtags? Not Nella Jane Fishrich says. I'm not exactly sure using hashtags. I'm not sure what that means exactly.
Well, I don't either, Rick, but I found if I do it in the description of my video, it pops up highlighted above the title. I premiered, if I can do a plug here, I'm sorry to shamelessly promote myself. I premiered a video this morning or this afternoon, and it was about the Cobalt Rescue air pump that's battery operated, kicks on automatically. It's whiz bang. I love the thing. So I did a video about it. And in the description, I used hashtag Cobalt Aquatics. And then when it published, hashtag Cobalt Aquatics came up in smaller font, but highlighted above the title. So I don't know if that gives extra keyword recognition or if that notifies Cobalt Aquatics, because they do have a YouTube channel. I'm not sure exactly of the function, but I did notice that it shows up above the title on the video.
Okay, so I'm not sure about that. So yeah, that's what she was talking about, is in your video description.
Okay, and then when I first used that, I did it for Aquatic Experience. And every video I did with Aquatic Experience, I used that. And then I noticed that Aquatic Experience started commenting on my videos. So it may have been that they were notified because that hashtag was used. I'm not sure.
Maybe so. I don't know. That's interesting, though. That's something to look at, to think about. Joseph said the numbers only matter as much as we choose them to. The passion for the hobby is what drives him, and that's what it should be. We talked about that a few minutes ago. If you're not in it because you enjoy it, then like you shouldn't be. You shouldn't really worry about your views, I guess. You won't be doing it long, probably anyway.
Tech likes to say, "Follow your bliss."
That's right. So tell me just a little bit. Now, we've been talking about all different kinds of things, but what fish? You're down to a fewer tanks. So what is it that you've got now?
I knew you were going to get around to talking about the livestock. I've got a betta. I've got a small group of black-bellied live bearers. I've got some dusky goodeids, some swordtails, coolie loaches, an albino bristlenose pleco, 2 longfin chocolate plecos, some rabbit snails. I've got, I guess, my coolest fish. I've got some coolie loaches that are pretty cool, but my coolest fish are some Schwartzii corridors. And they superficially look like a Julii, only they're about twice the size.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you've got some interesting things then.
Yeah.
Maybe, but you still have an interesting collection.
That's indoors. And then outdoors, I've got some koi, mixed koi, but I'm really fond of the butterfly koi, the longfin koi. I love those things. If you're asking, I think you're probably going to ask me what's my favorite fish. And I'm going to just tell you, it's right now, it's the butterfly fin koi, but it could be different tomorrow. I changed on that a lot.
Right. Yeah. I think we all probably do. Like there's always something that I want or that I want to get into or that's my next fish, so to speak.
I got to share this with you, Rick.
Yes, sir.
I've got I had a really cool colony of endlers, double red bar endler, that were wild caught by Adrian HD. They're in class. He line bred to get this double red bar, and I didn't lose any fish during my power outage. You know, I did a video about being out of power during the snowstorm for a couple of days, but I did notice the betta took it really hard, but seems to have fully recovered, and the endlers became nearly motionless. They were just suspended in the tank, and then after the temperatures came back up, they were acting normal, but now the colony has crashed.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I didn't mention the endlers in that list because over the last few days, I've lost my endler colony, and it was due to probably the shock of the temperature of the aquarium dropping.
Right. Well, I hate that. That's terrible, but I guess at least if we have to look at the bright side, at least that was all, right?
That's right, and it could have been worse. Could have been. I hate it, but it could have been worse. Now I've got room in the fish room there for some wild guppies or something.
Well, there you go. I keep talking to Joseph every time I get a chance to throw it in that I'd love to have some of those wild caught guppies that you keep getting. But anyway, I keep throwing that out. So
hey, one of us is going to get some of those wild guppies, Rick.
Yeah, one of these days, maybe.
I'm going to knock on his door and say, hey, man, let me have some fish.
Yeah, we'll have to go over there, go a trip. You know, that'd be a great trip to take. You know, just say, hey, I need my guppies now. Yeah, Cassie had said that she loves that infrared temp gun. She mentioned that she got like through your video there. I think you mentioned. I don't know if she was there, but
Cassie, you're my first affiliate link purchase, so you're my first commission. I made $1.44 off of your purchase. Thank you very much.
How about that? A whole $1.44. Look at that. Now, don't spend that all in one place, okay?
I'm going to share it with everybody.
And she's talking about how that the fish love to chase the laser. I have one of those, and I haven't noticed them chasing the laser yet. I'm going to have to play with the fish with the laser and see if I can get them to chase it. That sounds she said it's more fun than watching a cat chase the laser.
I was going to say maybe the catfish like it.
Yeah, catfish. Yeah. Let's see here. It seemed like there was something else I saw I wanted to mention. Oh, Bob had made a comment here. So if a huge channel tells viewers to sub to a small channel and we do as told but never watch the channel, the small channel, now with a lot of subs, will lose the subs with purchase. Yes, they will eventually. I don't know exactly how that process works. I don't know if YouTube tells us how that works or not, but I know that eventually, yes, they'll lose the subs. Do you know more about that, Rack?
Yeah, the deal is if it's dead weight and they're not watching any of your video content, you're having more and more of your viewership come from outside your subscribers, you're not improving your inertia. Yeah, the algorithm isn't going to appreciate that as much as it would as if you had a greater percentage of your subscribers doing the content consumption.
And, you know, I did something a while. I may end up losing some subscribers after a while because I did something with with a contest as far as like on a Facebook group to where if they subscribed and shot a picture of it or whatever, I teamed up with a guy because I was getting into some shrimp then, and this was a shrimp group. And so eventually, not knowing those that aren't watching my channel, you know, I may end up losing subscribers at some point from that. But hopefully they watched it and they like it and they're still watching it. But it could be that I'm probably going to lose some from that. So,
but you know, the truth is, Rick, I'm never going to turn a subscriber away.
right. No.
Come on in. If you like it, check out a few videos. I hope you will. And I'm going to keep making good content to try and earn their viewership. But if they subscribe, I'm going to thank them.
Right. Yeah. And like I say, that was something I did, and I didn't know exactly how everything worked then. But it wasn't a huge number anyway, you know. But it might be a few I'll lose another month or two down the road. But hopefully I'll have enough great content out there everybody will be wanting, and I'll have gotten so many more it won't even make any difference, right?
To the moon.
Yeah, that's right. So so where are you going to go from here? You talked to I don't think we talked on the air about this maybe, but we talked before we went on, like from where you were thinking about you might go from here as far as what you're going to do in the fish keeping world.
I'm recovering from the multiple tank syndrome, so I'm downsizing the number of tanks. And what we had talked about is, you know, you and I keep the smaller tanks as project tanks, you know, breeding tanks for a group or a pair or a trio. And so I'm looking at getting rid of some of the smaller tanks and maybe getting larger tanks. So having a smaller number of tanks, but larger tanks, increasing the gallonage and, you know, increasing the number of fish.
Right, because you can't have more fish with less tanks. It just depends on the size of the tanks, right?
Thank you, Don Gallagher. Appreciate you watching my videos. You know, one thing that I admire are cichlids, and I don't have any cichlids.
Yeah, I don't have any cichlids either, and that's always been something because cichlids, you know, you can get these bright colors and all these things, and you can do that with some guppies too. But you know, that's always, and rainbows, and several other fish I'm sure that I could think of, but that's always been one that I sort of like, or the you know, the cichlids, because that was sort of the if you don't know about all the cichlids, are probably the most colorful fish you'll see, like at your Petco or something like that, probably. Mm-hmm. So that's probably
they're probably the freshwater fish that's most often mistaken as a saltwater fish.
Right, and they're probably the most colorful fish that is the most common, probably.
Sure.
So yeah, I think so. Let's see. I saw. Oh, one fish, two fish. Liz says she can't do it that way. No room for big tanks. She's got to do several smaller tanks. That's just the way it's got to be.
That's right. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, and Brandon, he's not here tonight, but Maple Street, you know, he's got his fish room. He's sort of expanded upstairs now, but he had a fish room down, and he had some different size tanks he'd tuck like under the stairs, and so, you know, so you can get some tanks in some really interesting places. So.
Yeah, and you know, what is a tank? Anything that'll hold water, right?
That's right. Anything that'll hold water. So you talked about your outside. Is it a tub or
a stock tank? They sell the tubs as a stock tank by Rubbermaid. Tractor Supply is a popular place to get them, and they vary in sizes from 10 gallons. Mine's 300. Greg Jones got a plastic pond that he just installed out there. Greg Jones in my aquarium box. It's 1,000 gallon. So I guess you get any size that you wanted. Mine's above ground. And when I got my koi, they were tiny. They were babies. And I had them indoors in a 70-gallon stock tank. And I had that tank surrounded by 5-gallon buckets. And each bucket had its own lid and its own light and its own sponge filter. There was 8 of them. And I had these bendy arm lights over them and a air hose running in along the lights, and they were beside my koi pond. I called it Octokoi because it looked like octopus arms coming out of that koi pond.
How about that? That's pretty neat.
It was neat. The fish didn't mind, I don't think, but I didn't enjoy only getting to see them at feeding time. I had some successful breeding projects. I added plants and snails in each one, and most of the live bears bred, but I didn't get to interact with them much because you couldn't see through the bucket wall.
Right. And that's always fun. The fish come into the glass, and when you come in, and you know they're wanting their food and all that. And that's always exciting to see. So
It's just relaxing. It just takes your mind off of what's bothering you, and you can just enjoy watching them.
that's right. Let's see if we had anything else here. Liz got a 70-gallon one of those, she said, from Cassie's store. She's got in her living room on painted concrete blocks. So, yeah, she mentioned we did our stream. That's pretty funny. Don's got a goldfish in a stock tank outside, or got some goldfish. All right. Well, we usually try to go about an hour, and it's been about an hour.
Boy, time flies.
What's that?
I said time flies.
I know it does. I know at 8, there's some other streams that come on, so I try not to go too far over into their time, so to speak. But Rack, I sure do appreciate having you on with us tonight, man.
Rick, thanks for having me. You're a fantastic host. And you know, I was a little bit nervous not knowing how the technology was going to work out. And you got me straightened out here and set me at ease. And I really appreciate you taking care of me.
Well, we all appreciate you and what you've done for the fish fam and the community and the Team Green Alliance and all that. So we really do appreciate that, because it's kind of helped us all to begin to reach our goals. Like I reached my goal here tonight. So that's awesome. I appreciate everybody being here. I haven't really got anybody set up for next week. Not sure how what I'll have next week, but we're going to get several other people lined up. I want to mention, if anybody here in the chat wants to be on with me, would love to have you. So send me an email, BamAquaticsFish@gmail.com, and we can try to get you on as well. So, but again, thank you, Rack, for joining us, and thank you everybody for being here. And I guess we'll see you next Thursday.
Rick, thanks again. And anyone who wants to collaborate with me, feel free to reach out.
That's great. That'd be awesome. The more the merrier, as I say. So anyway, good to have you, Rack, and we'll be talking to you again soon.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
See you, everybody.